Hello everyone, and welcome to this randomly generated video. I'm Nelcor, and today I bring you Chapter 3 of Tedium In Blue. That's how you say it. Don't have a lot to say, so let's just get right into it. Hope you don't mind my stuttering and my word slip up. Okay. Chapter 3. The jarring shock of seeing a literal fish man with your own eyes distracted you from the fact that your phone slipped from your shaking hands. Oh crap, no! Your fingertips glanced off the plastic case as it fell towards the water, but right before it was lost to the salty depths under the pyre, the merman reached forward and caught it easily. His hands were now visible to you. A thin membrane of webbing connecting each finger, small claws replacing normal human fingernails. His tail was long and strong, ending in a fin similar to a whale or dolphin's. Delicate fins adorned the sides of the tail, not unlike silk, as they moved effortlessly in the water. His scales were various shades of orange, dotted with freckles of shimmering gold and black. As the tail wound up his body and ended around his waist as he transformed into a mostly human-looking man. Your brain was firing at rapid speeds in an attempt to process 100 unanswered questions at once. Were you dreaming? Was this some exclusively elaborate prank, but put on by some YouTubers trying to humiliate an unsuspecting onlooker with a professional actor? Was he related to the Loch Ness Monster? Has he ever interacted with people before? Why did he have... I'm sorry, I don't know if... I'm not gonna say that. It's not exactly inappropriate, I just don't feel comfortable saying that next part. Okay, why was a man with a fishtail more attractive than, 99% of the normal people you saw on a daily basis? But you shook your head free of bizarre questions to focus on the task at hand. Even if it was a dream, getting your phone back was at the utmost importance. The merman held the phone in his webbed hands, turning it around and peering at it suspiciously, holding it up to his nose to smell it. He scrunched up his face in apparent disgust at whatever it smelled like, holding it away from him like something diseased. You waved your arms frantically below you to get his attention before you dropped it casually into the water. Hey, please give that back. Damn, you probably don't know words. He looked at you curiously, holding the phone inches above the water. You pointed towards the phone in his hand, then back to you. You repeated the action, his red eyes following your motions. One clawed finger pointed at the phone, and back to you, in some sort of confirmation. You nodded. A wicked smirk appeared on his face, revealing fanged teeth as he pretended to drop the phone into the water. No, please don't! You growled out with the realization that he was aware you wanted the device back, but he wouldn't hand it over easily. How do I reason with a merman? I was not prepared for this today. You sighed out with exasperated frustration. Just then, you remembered the vendor food in your hand. Of course, you'd hang on to the food and not your phone. Typical. But maybe you can make a wager. You dangled I do not know how to say that word, over the water, watching him carefully as his red eyes tracked your hand like a predator assessing a threat. He swam easily towards the food, nose turned upwards, sniffing the salty air. His eyes widened. Apparently, it smelled better than your phone. His empty hand reached up out of the water towards the food, but you pulled it away at the last second. He growled, baring his sharp teeth at you, the blonde hair on the back of his neck standing on end. As attractive as he was, the angry look on his face was honestly a bit scary, but you had to see this plan through. You pointed towards your phone, then back at yourself. Then from the... Okay, I'm going to try and say it. Hashimaki, I don't know if I said that right. then from the hashimaki back to him. His scowl subsided only slightly as he followed your hand back and forth. You slowly lowered the food back down towards the water, hoping that he understood what you were after as you held out your other free hand for the phone. Red eyes narrowed as he swam back towards you, suspicious that you'd take the food away at the last second again. The fingers of your free hand wiggled expectantly, pointing again at your phone. Rising up out of the water, he finally held out the device to you, your fingers brushing against his webbed hand as he set it down in your palm, before quickly snatching the hashimaki out of your hand and retreating back at a safe distance. Glad to finally have your phone back, you set it on the pyre before watching curiously as he sniffed again at the snack before poking a tongue out to taste it. After a second, his fanged mouth opened wide to shove nearly all of it in his mouth at once, ignoring the etiquette of chewing it in favor of nearly swallowing it whole, making you laugh. He looked at you with a low growl before promptly disappearing underneath the water's surface. Ah, damn, I have so many questions that you probably can't answer vocally. Your eyes scanned across the dark water, but the sun was long gone. The street lamps and moon, your main source of light now. There was no movement aside from the shifting ebb and flow of water against the creaky wooden pillars of the pyre. You'd just seen a real mermaid, and now he was gone. You didn't even snap a picture first. Groaning, you waited around for a few more minutes before letting out a heavy sigh. Before you stood up to leave, however, a loud splash echoed off to your left. Shifting your eyes to the side, your vision was clouded with sight of the merman leaning casually on the edge of the pyre, his arms folded on the damp wood, holding him up out of the water as he peered at you curiously. Despite the lack of light, the scales on his shoulders and arms shimmered brilliantly like stardust. You ducked your head under the pyre quickly to see he was, indeed, dangling out of the water, the tip of his tail splashing back and forth against the surface. Well, with arm muscles like that, you supposed he would have good upper body strength. Still, laying on your stomach, you slowly crawled towards him, not too close to touch, but close enough to get a better look at what you could only describe as a mythical creature. He watched your movement with sharp eyes, his own curiosity mirrored back at you. You noticed the clean hashimaki stick laying next to him. Apparently he hated trash on the beach too. It took your breath away how beautiful he really was up close. Even with all the weird fish parts, the human areas of him were extremely gorgeous. You chuckled lightly to yourself, thinking back to stories of fantasy and fairy tales. Never thought I'd come face to face with a legend. Are there more like you, or is it a tragic tale of loneliness? You wondered aloud, his glistening eyes watching the movements of your lips, making your face feel warm. A webbed hand reached out slowly towards one of your own. You mirrored his movements, fingers hovering over the weather-worn wood of the pyre. When your fingers touched his, a spark went down your spine all the way down to your toes, making your breath hitch in your throat. His skin was cool to the touch, and lightly textured like high-grit sandpaper. Fingers wove in and out experimentally between your own, curious at the lack of webbing. He seemed surprisingly comfortable with being this close to you, so you had to imagine he'd come in contact with humans previously, at least from afar. While you focused on his imaginary backstory, a claw trailed delicately down to your wrist, a wet finger pressing on your pulse point, feeling your heart beat through your skin. The calm of the moment was broken when his head snapped to the side, the curious look on his face replaced with a scowl as he let go of your hand, suddenly sliding back and dropping back into the water with a splash. A blinding light flitted across your face from down on the pyre. An officer on patrol across the beach spotted you. The lone civilian splayed out on the pyre. Questioning your intentions, you quickly muttered out a lie that you came out to relax but fell asleep on accident. He ushered you up, saying you shouldn't be alone, It's too dark, blah blah blah. Reluctantly, you gathered up your things and followed the officer down the pier, back towards the beach, turning your head one last time towards the water, a speck of blonde hair bobbing just above the surface, red eyes watching you leave. You gave a small wave behind your back, wondering if the gesture for "see you later" was universal. And that was chapter 3 of Tedium in Blue. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, all of my social media links are down in the description. If you want to support my artwork, or just me in general, give me a follow. And if you have any suggestions for fanfictions, video ideas, ASMR ideas, really just any sort of video idea, comment down below and I'll be sure to respond. I don't really have anything better to do than to respond to comments, and I like to interact with you guys. So yeah, that's all folks. Nelcor signing out.